Hi guys, welcome to another show of Battery and Bobo. As you can see, Battery seems very excited for some reason. So we're reviewing the fourth T20 between India and England. And Frazia, he was predicting 4-1 to England, but unfortunately that's not going to happen for him. But just a quick first we'll review India's batting. England obviously won a crucial toss. Well, that's what it looked like. I don't know what Battery's looking for, yeah. So yeah, they got off to a poor start, which they've done pretty much throughout the series. Rahul looked dismal, hung around, didn't do much at all. They lost a big wicket of Rohit Sharma. But what an amazing innings by, we'll call him Sky, as Battery likes to call him, Sky Yadav. 57 of 31 deliveries with the 6 of his first delivery as well. Showed that he had the courage and the free mind. Him and along with cameos from Pant and Aya, so it took India to a very, very respectable score at the halfway stage, 185 for 8. Archer was in the wickets with 4 for 33, but the most impressive bowler for me anyway was Mark Wood again. His aggression, his consistency, he was troubled the Indian batsmen throughout, and they would never look like they were going to get on top of him. So at the halfway stage, as I said, 185 for 8 for us. What were you thinking at that point? Were you confident?
Hi guys. Just like to start off by congratulating India.
Oh, Frazia looks a bit down.
Because they've actually achieved.
Sorry, I can't speak. Can you come a bit closer? I'm looking for you and the what's it called? I seen Brian Lara yesterday, and then I seen him today batting at number 7 for England. You know, can you just come a bit closer, man? I can see that lovely face here.
I'll explain what Laura did as well.
Yes.
No, I'm not on about yesterday.
We'll come on to him. Yeah, we'll come on to Laura's performance.
But no, first of all, honestly, people are saying these are big tosses, but I'll be honest with you, in T20 cricket, I don't see it like that.
Oh
T20
please!
cricket,
Oh please,
no, honestly,
Frazia, please!
honestly, I don't.
Just because I can't believe it.
Frazia, please listen. Look, yeah.
Could you hear me out, please?
No, but not when you say that. But go on, we'll let you finish. Out of respect.
Hear me out, please.
Yeah.
Because for me, T20 cricket is the most unpredictable format of the game.
Agreed.
Which I probably think you probably would agree. Because
Agreed.
in T20 cricket, 1 over can change the game completely.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
Which today for me it did. The over when Thakur bowled to Stokes.
No, we'll come back. We'll come back on to that.
What about the over? We're not on about that. We're not about
the first innings. Fraz, we're talking about the first innings. We'll come back on.
You're talking about game changing. I thought you were about the over where Brian Lara bowled 1 over.
No.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
so Frazia, 185.
Coming back
185. Come back on to 185. Yeah.
185, I think was chaseable on that track. Yes.
With the dew as well.
100%. It should have been. It should have been easier than what England made out to look.
100%.
With your own superstar lineup, Frazia, as you like to call them.
Frazia, listen, let's not look for excuses. You, with your chest out, said
There's no
4-1.
excuse.
Listen to me, please. Listen. I've heard your predictions. I've seen it, and unfortunately, you were very confident. You sort of planned for this tour. Morgan won 3 out of 4 tosses. Where you gone, Fraz?
He's gone off. He's gone off. Frazia,
Sorry, I was receiving a call. Sorry.
Oh, I thought it was from Sam Curran.
Who's from Brian Lara, aka Sam Curran? Oh, he's gone again. Fraz, this is not good.
That was someone.
That was the Owen Morgan this time.
Fraz, this was like Owen Morgan calling you, saying, "Please don't listen, Fraz."
What can I say?
First of all,
I'm a popular
Fraz,
man.
listen to me. As soon as that toss happened and Bobo broke the news to you, I video called you, and what did I say to you straight away? Please, can you tell the viewers?
You did say that India were going to win.
I said India are going to defend this total after the toss. I predicted 3-2 to India. Listen to me, Fraz. The bottom line is, Fraz, you're right. The toss doesn't matter in T20 cricket. I agree. But it matters in certain situations, i.e. in the subcontinent, where there's dew. If there is no dew, I agree, it doesn't matter.
But
But where there is dew, today, you know, the worst thing is today was the worst condition
the
for
worst,
you.
yeah. You could see like the ground was literally wet.
185 was a par score. You guys needed 10 and over in the last 5 with the greatest batting lineup ever England has seen.
Look, that's what I'm trying to that's what I'm trying to defend, Betty.
What are you trying to
and
defend?
you're not giving me the chance.
Okay, where did let him defend?
What are you defending? You're not defending the ball here.
We're not on court here, but go on, defend.
I'm defending the fact. Yes, my prediction was 4-1 before the series.
I don't want to know about your prediction.
People make predictions. I mean, Glenn McGrath, I don't know if you remember or not, used to make predictions.
We do remember.
5 left every,
you're not Glenn McGrath.
For the start for us, they had a much better team than England when he used to make this prediction.
What I'm saying is
they had no bowling. You've won all the tosses, and it's still 2-2. What do you want to do? What more can they give you?
Okay, Faraz, let's break it down a little bit more.
I'm trying to make some sense. I'm trying to defend myself here.
Okay, can you defend some current selection? Okay, you've done this other defending. Can you explain to me why he's playing?
Look, listen, first of all, you know what? Today, I've been saying to you, and forget Sam Curran, we'll talk about England. Let's talk about the positive. Let's talk about India today.
No, we are going to talk about, okay, Sky Yadav, you got 57, 6 off the first ball.
I want first of all today to talk about the man who announced himself on the international scene, who I've been saying to you is a class act, and he showed today that he is ready to show the world his talent. Mr. Surya Kumar Yadav, aka Sky.
Make sure you pronounce it properly, yeah. Well, yeah. Sky.
And he showed him. You gotta realize KR Rahul's in the Sharma, KR Rahul, and Hitman, Rahul, and Kohli did nothing. They still got 185. Your bowling attack today. The problem with England, you've gone in with 5 seamers and a spinner, and you're still conceding 185. Yeah.
But Becky, that was today for me. That was probably the flattest track out of all the 4 games.
Okay, so therefore you should have chased it easily with your best batting.
We should have chased it easy, but like I said, that one
over track. I think there was the most amount.
It wasn't flat, Bobo, but it was the best batting attack. And I think the due factor for England, it was the perfect.
I think Stokes and Morgan gift wrapped that victory for India today. They played very, very irresponsible shots.
No, Farazia, listen to me. You can't say this because England's philosophy over the last, probably since after 2015 World Cup has been, we're going to go aggressive. We're not going to rebuild.
You had Bairstow got a start, didn't capitalize. You had Roy got a start, didn't capitalize.
By the way, how poor did Roy look? His innings looks good on paper, but others said the commentary looked like he was using a baseball bat.
The worst thing you can do in T20 is what KR Rahul do. Look, there's one thing, and this is what Milan normally does, but he's not getting away with it here. He starts off slow, then he increases his strike rate with him, which is what he's been doing in other countries, in South Africa, New Zealand, in England. In India, the pitch isn't true. It is very hard to accelerate and build. Only very few players like Kohli and some of the other class players can do. He hasn't got it. Now he's taking his time, yeah. Something which KR Rahul did bad, yeah. He took his time, got out. That's the worst thing he could do.
I thought Rahul was saying selfishly.
Look, I'll give credit. I'll give credit where it's due. India played very well today, but they were helped. They were helped by poor cricket from England as well today.
Okay, Faraz, let's explain.
They were helped from poor cricket from England as well.
No. Poor cricket as in poor. The thing is, Faraz, England, India. Can I ask you a question? Are India with their full bowling attack?
No, they're not.
I'm just asking. Huh?
No, they're not.
They're not. Okay. Can you tell me? In these conditions, is it easier to chase or defend? Please tell me. In these conditions,
England should have chased that today. I
didn't ask you that question. I asked you: is it easier to chase or is it easier to defend in these conditions?
I guess it's easier to chase because of the dew factor. Yeah.
I don't want you to guess. What do you think?
Yes.
Yes. Easier to chase.
Yes.
Out of 4 games, how many tosses have England won?
3 tosses.
So really, I know it's not T20, it shouldn't go like that. I'm not. If you win the toss, you don't win the game because but on these conditions, very favourable if you chase. Yeah.
But
Correct.
you've still got to play. You've still got to
No, you
play
still
well.
gotta,
Mate. You've
we
got to
got,
play well.
obviously, the toss is very important.
No,
We got
all
to look
I
at
hear
the
you
breakdown of
saying
the
for
game.
months now, all I've been hearing for months, I'll be honest with you, this, you got to realize, let's look at the context here. You got Kohli that didn't fire. They didn't have a good power play. You had Sharma out, Kohli out. You had Sharma, Kohli, and Rahul did do nothing, and yet you still conceded 185, and that was their youngsters. Yeah.
No,
Let me
but
tell
the
you
biggest-
something now.
No, but just sorry to cut you there, but looking at it, yeah, throughout England's success in the T20 and the 50-over cricket has been Rashid as well in the middle overs taking wickets and containing. But with Morgan, it seems to be like, if you're going to use Rashid in the power play, yeah, then opposition just know that they can just see him off anyway, and they'll just wait for the middle when he's not
To be
bowling
honest,
anymore. So it doesn't make
to be
sense.
For
honest,
me, Bobo, I'll be
Morgan-
honest with you.
Makes
For
sense.
me, Bobo,
Yeah.
for me, England have got the biggest problem. Look, in the World Cup, we all know England have prioritized this series. They're trying to get, and it's not as if they're experimenting, because they pretty much know, nailed on pretty much who's going to be selected apart from a few places. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is here, England, yeah, if they really wanted to get grits and do a few tick boxes, so positives for England, Wood, massive positive.
Yeah.
Hats out, is phenomenal this evening. Bowling gas is both really, really quick.
Being
The problem is
consistent as
England have
well.
got 5 seamers, including Stokes, Sam Curran, Wood, Jordan, and Archer, and 1 spinner.
Yeah.
I know they're not being conducive to spin as massive. I agree with that. It's been sort of seamer-friendly tracks compared to before. But if you know you're going to go into the condition of the World Cups, don't you think you're better off putting Moeen Ali at least for a game?
Personally, I would have played Moeen Ali today, 100%.
Yeah, not
Yeah, but I would
because
have played him
not
throughout the series. You know he's going to
not
play.
just because it's bowling. Because look, what you got to realize is, yeah, what Morgan's going is giving Jordan 4, Archer 4, Wood 4, Rashid 4. So he's using Stokes 2 and
Stokes 3 and
Sam
Curran
Curran
1
2.
today.
Well, today you used Sam Stokes 3, didn't he? But I'm just saying, Sam or however, how many did Curran bowl today? 2 or
One over 1 for 16.
Yeah, 1. But what I'm saying is, like, they're sharing 4 overs, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, Moeen Ali can offer you that same, and he can bowl in power plays, and he can bat at 7, and he's a better batsman than Sam Curran. Today, when if you look at it, yeah, when Morgan and Stokes got out, you thought game over, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and Archer
That was the
and
changing point. Yeah.
who was it at the crease? Sam Curran and Archer, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Curran Jordan.
Yeah. Now,
Sam Curran,
Still-
Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Archer took it all the way and you lost by 9 runs. Even 12 of 3, you got 1 hit, could have changed. The fact that you had Moeen Ali instead of Sam Curran, for me, I think, look, in T20, you're not going to need 7-8. If you need a batsman at 7-8, in a lot of the times, then you're in trouble. But for that time that you need him, because you may need him,
Yeah,
even
but I
back in
think they
2014.
they need him because England's philosophy is not like other T20 teams like India, for example, even say Pakistan. They don't have this kind of consolidation. We're going to wait. They just go hard from ball 1. So if their team is probably one of the few ones that do need someone at number 7 that can actually, clear the boundaries or score runs, because even though we're saying today Morgan and Stokes played irresponsibly, Morgan's not going to go into that changing room and say, oh, we should have done it differently. He's just going to say it's poor execution. We played the right way, and next time we're going to come off. That's the way they played for the last 5 years. We can't start sitting here now and saying they should play differently.
Look, I agree with you. England have got a certain philosophy, yeah, and they've always become like the Indian, where they're known as the chasing team. They can chase anything.
Yeah.
The thing is, but what it is with me, when I look at that batting lineup and I see Sam Curran at 7, and if England lose a few early wickets, which you have to put yourself in all scenarios in the World Cup, it's not going to be you win the toss and you chase everything. You might have to bat first. You might be unlucky and not win a single toss. It's happened
You see,
before.
this is where my argument.
Just give me 1
the
second.
second
I've
half-
got someone at the door.
Yeah, go on, Faraz.
This is where my argument last time was in the second T20, where I was thinking where Josh Butler was very, very crucial to England. Then, if they're going to play, if they're going to play Curran instead of Moeen Ali, Butler comes even more important.
But can you remember we discussed this after the second T20 for us, and after the third one, obviously we didn't do a show, but remember what I said to you? I said that this Butler firing in the third T20 in a way could go backfire England in terms of they're going to have the excuse like he's done so well with the bat as an opener. He did well.
You see,
in
they're
the
basing on stats, aren't they? Morgan even said after the pre-match presentation after the third one day, after the third T20. They said that, look, Josh Butler is there to do this kind of thing, and he's averaging over 50. Now, if you're going to play Curran, that's where I think you're missing a point. You haven't got a finisher.
But the thing is, right, this is not about Curran or Moeen Ali actually, because to be honest, either one of them can get nowhere near where Butler does. But as we discussed earlier, I think the pressure is going to be there's going to be a lot of pressure on Butler, on Stokes and Morgan in these chases of 12, 13 runs per over. If in their mind they also start thinking about that we haven't got much batting to come, then they might get in two minds, indecisive.
You see, with England, I honestly think what's happening now is they're not, you could say experiment. I mean, because they're playing in India where they know they're going to play the World Cup. Let's be fair. Okay. I think if they were playing in any other country, it would have been different. I think they wouldn't have.
You can't use that because the whole planning has to be just for India. Forget about any other country now. Because
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They are planning obviously for the World Cup. That's why I think he's I don't know, with his captaincy this series, he's been a bit off for me.
I think he's been off a little bit. It's not been terrible, obviously, because he's got such high standards. But even some of the field placings, it hasn't been clear in terms of what the bowlers.
I mean, I'll give you guys an example. First T20, he opens with Rashid. Rashid does really well. So in the second T20, he doesn't give the ball to Rashid. He gives it to Sam Curran.
Sorry, Fraz. It was Morgan at the door. Right. You just wanted to...
Morgan, what was he looking for? Second spinner.
And then Sam Curran bowls a wicket made in second T20, and then third T20 he's nowhere to be seen. He comes onto in the 13th over. So
no, but this all goes back, Frazia. Your points are really valid here. So if he's trying all these,
sorry, I missed anything there.
But we just talked. Yeah, so even when all these things are working, that baffles me even more. That the one thing that you're definitely going to have in the World Cup matches, you're going to have to play a second spinner. I don't care which pitch in India it is, what ground you're playing.
That's what I'm saying.
But you know what this means for me? Shall I be honest with you? You know what this shows, you're right, because there's no way you're going to get these pitches, yeah? And there's no way you're going to use all your seamers, and there's no way Sam Curran's a better bowler. So what this shows to me is Morgan, obviously, look, we're not saying Moeen Ali would have done brilliant on these conditions. But what Morgan has shown that he's actually not gone there to experiment. He's actually gone there to win the series. Yeah. And he's not really tried those players. Now, the only thing which I will defend Morgan is to say he'll get his players to use the IPL to learn the conditions. But you're not going to get the same sort of
you got the team combinations better, and when you're going to bowl, how you're going to bowl,
or same match scenario as you're going to get an IPL. So for me, and the worst thing is this: if England lose, which will come on to the next match, then everything that they've planned has really backfired in a sense. Although
you see, for me, if Sam Curran doesn't open the bowling, Sam Curran doesn't play.
Yeah, but I agree with that. Bang on, because he's only strength is swing the ball early on.
See, the thing is here, yeah, what you got to realize is, you know, in T20, it's almost they like to get an over out quickly. Yeah, sometimes that can backfire. In a lot of cases, the spinner tends to do good. Moeen Ali can do that one over roll.
But the thing is, you don't do that. You try to get an over out early, but you don't do that with your trump card. Teams don't do it with the best bowler.
This is what I'm saying. So you don't do that with Rashid. Because he only had Rashid, he did it with him, was trying to surprise. Some matches he held him back, some matches he didn't. But for me, and it's not just because, you know, like, oh, no, like Moeen has to play. Look, there's certain games where, look, Moeen may not get in because you may not need two spinners. The thing is, for me, I think you still need two spinners in India.
But what about his mindset, Battery? Now, what about his mindset? Like, we know what happened in the test matches. He's had a tough winter with COVID, and there has been a bit of criticism, and his bowling has still been decent, and to be honest, he's actually still doing a decent job in white ball cricket.
We all know the confident player. Baba, we all know he's a quality cricketer. Morgan's that type of captain, he'll back him. I don't think he's going to be lacking confidence, but you've got to select him to show what he can do.
Yeah, but why not? Why wouldn't he be lacking confidence? Because what do you think? Like, obviously, the guy's gone back. He's had a really tough winter, as I said. He's come back. He's probably come ready, pumped to play in the series.
You know what the funny thing is,
and then he's not played a game. It doesn't make sense.
The funny thing is now that you know who's going to be the first man on the team sheet next game for England. It's Moeen Ali.
I don't know. I still don't know. If Owen Morgan is
But you know,
desperate to
Morgan,
I
win
would
the
bet-
Morgan's
I
that
would
type of
bet my
captain.
bot-
He'll back this team and he'll play with it. Morgan's that type of captain. For me, he's going to pick the same 11.
He won't. He won't. I would bet my bottom dollar he's gonna pick Mo Ali next game, 101%.
Well, he should
Okay.
do because Sam Curran's done nothing.
But then
Sam
again,
Curran is out next game, 100%.
he has to. Moeen Ali has to bowl probably early. Well, he's going to have to save him for the middle for India's left-handers, and you also want to save Rashid for the middle. So it's
Mo
gonna be-
Ali will play. Mo
Talking
Ali
of
will play
left-handers,
because Morgan
Bobo,
has no
Bobo,
choice.
talking of left-handers, what were England doing sending 3 left-handers in at 5, 6, and 7? Please tell
Yeah,
me.
but India, but Virat Kohli made a blunder as well by bowling Sundar to right-handers, and that nearly cost him. But we'll come on to this as well in terms of as soon as Kohli went off the field and Sharma was captain on field, it seemed to make a big difference. So it might be.
I don't know about that, Bobo, but we'll talk
It
about
seemed
that.
to. Obviously, it can be a coincidence. It can be a
No,
coincidence. But let's.
look,
Bhatia-
what you have to
yeah. Let's just quickly, obviously, we talked about the 185. Yeah, they got nowhere near in the end. But to be honest with you, at one time when Stokes and Bairstow were going, Bairstow just about got going, obviously, after smashing Sunderland in that one over. England were
3 down to
favourites.
130.
England were strong favourites, yeah.
Oh, 130, Bobo, for 3. 7
Yeah.
wickets in hand. The best
And,
batting
yeah,
lineup
with the
we've
ball,
ever seen.
with the ball getting wetter and wetter, and with England's obviously history now, and obviously with chasing, and they had Morgan left as well, I would have thought it's 90-10 or 80-20 England's game. So
I wouldn't say 90. I'd say I thought it was 65. I'd say 70, 30, 65.
looking at that situation with the India's bowling attack, out of 10 times, I would expect England to win at least 8 times that game.
See what
I
it
would
was,
expect England to. I would have expected England to win 10 out of 10.
Well, this was the 11th one then.
But what happened? It could be unless you wanted them to win 10 out of 11 or 10 out of 9.
Honestly, those two shots summed up the whole game for me. They were irresponsible today with the bat.
No, as a
Morgan
Faraz,
and-
you can't criticize the
Morgan. I don't know what you. I don't know. I don't care
No,
what Morgan
I
does
can see
in-
his
in-
point.
in the
I can see his point. The point that he's making, yeah, he's got a valid point. And what he means by that is that I can understand because they got starts and they weren't responsible to throw the wickets away. That I can understand. That I agree with you. Roy Bairstow, this season, out of 4 games, he's got 3 40s. He's not got
Yeah,
50.
but they must
How
be
do
the
you
worst
justify-
40s
how do you
ever seen in the
justify-
series.
Look,
How do you
yeah, I mean,
justify
the
Stokes
funniest
getting
today
out?
was he inside edge one, he outside edge one, he at the back of the back today. But that's look, you're gonna get
Played
that.
for
But it
all of
wasn't.
it, but he
Look,
hasn't played for it.
I
but-
blame
he's
Morgan
been
today
averaging
because-
12 after the World Cup in white ball cricket. He's been averaging 12.
Yeah, it's been. To be honest with
I
you,
mean, I
it's
blame-
one of those.
I blame Morgan today for that irresponsible shot he played.
I
just
blame
seen
you
Stokes
for
get
one
out.
prediction, but
But
Yeah.
Faraz,
You've just seen Stokes get out, and the next ball you're driving the ball upwards again.
Faraz,
well,
Which
that's
is
the
not-
thing. Like
listen
Boba
to
said,
me, Faraz.
you live by the sword, you die by the
But
sword.
yeah, exactly.
That's the way England's
And the
approach is.
required-
You can't criticize them when they lose because that's what you praise them for when they win. Because
That's how
you're
they
the
won the
same
World
guy that
Cup.
say, we'll
That's
change
how they got
anything,
to
we'll
number
change
one, yeah.
anything.
No, but end of the day, when you need 12, 13 and over, and you've got Sam Curran, Lara walking in, maybe Morgan didn't fancy Curran to do the job, so he just thought, I need to hit a few boundaries because Curran's not
Or
going to.
maybe Morgan wants to make the series really, really interesting.
Oh, Faraz, yeah. So we heard these
Listen,
stories.
I'm going home if you're talking nonsense.
Yeah,
please.
we've heard this
Well, I'm
story.
actually at home,
I
sorry,
think
I can't
a
go
lot
home.
of our friends know that Faraz gets really depressed when England lose.
Listen, I don't want the channel to be shut or be
Yeah,
investigated.
it comes out with
because-
theories. No, listen, we got to hear it. We got to hear Faraz out. He's on the show. That he's got a
Please,
theory that
look,
he's
This
got
is
a
supposed to be a
theory.
straight talk, not
No,
comical show,
no,
yeah,
it's
on
not-
his
well,
theory.
England's performance is comical, so we might as well carry on. No, so he says that it was 2-1 to England. So what the plan was that to make it interesting and have a deciding match, and it'd be good for there's no crowd anyway, but for people watching at home and for the broadcasters. So he was thinking there was some kind of foreplay, as we say, going on. So Faraz, can you expand on why
Please,
he was
look,
making
Fraz,
such an allegation?
listen,
Look,
Hey,
we all know,
Badri, you got to give him a chance to talk.
We all know India is very, very renowned for I wouldn't say personally gambling, but the
I'd
whole
be careful, but I'd be
concept-
careful what you say. I'd be
the whole
careful what you
concept-
say. And
the
if there's
whole
no
concept-
proof, don't say
No,
stupid
no,
stuff.
no,
please.
Let him finish, Badri. You got to give him a chance to
saying
finish.
I'm not saying anybody. Let me just give me a couple of minutes here, please. What I'm saying is, there's been incidents in the IPL, for example, Chennai were accused of match fixing, whatever fixing it was.
Well, they were, yeah, they were kicked out for a
You're
couple
brave,
of
man.
They
You're
were,
brave.
and they were kicked out, and they were kicked out of the tournament, and they came back next year after that. So
They
what
didn't
I'm
come
trying
back
to say
next year.
is,
yeah.
They didn't come back next year.
matches in India are maybe sometimes not decided by
Yeah, but
personnel
Faraz,
or
yeah, listen
players.
to me here. There's two teams
Fraz,
playing in this game. Yeah,
listening,
Batty, listen.
Fraz, anyone listening is gonna laugh at your theory, please, because when
No, but
England win,
it does because Faraz, there's two teams playing in this match, Faraz. Yeah, there's two teams. So what are you trying to say? England are also playing in this game. So you can't just talk about India.
No, what I'm saying is that the whole concept of making money entertaining in India is very, very big than other countries. I would say it's probably the
Fraz,
most
please,
biggest.
please,
So,
look,
Fraz,
we're
yeah.
talking cricket. I'm not gonna entertain a silly conversation, and please
So,
don't take it
Faraz,
the
yeah,
wrong way.
listen, you got to
We're
be
talking cricket here.
And-
We're not talking- we're not
sour
talking
grapes from
fair
you.
play.
And sometimes maybe to make it more interesting, people
Fraz,
they go
please,
down that route.
Fraz, everything that you said and you think you've literally, honestly, and I can't say it on
Faraz,
thinking.
yeah, listen, you gave credit to India. You criticize England's selection and Morgan, and then you just come on and you just trying to
Shall I be honest with
make
you?
an excuse.
You actually, this is what you were like when England were on the verge of getting knocked out, yeah, of the World Cup. And I don't want to bring them days back, yeah.
Look,
Don't say
guys,
you're only kidding. Don't say you're only kidding, Faraz, because we know you
Guys,
did.
Listen, don't start this reverse
guys.
psychology. Look,
guys,
banter aside, you said 4-1. Whether you were joking, whether you were not, I always knew it was going to be a
4-1
tight
as
series.
You wasn't joking,
But
Batty.
don't-
You're being serious.
Yeah, I know we're serious. Don't come on here with all this nonsense about fixing and all this when we clearly know you've got no proof. Let's talk facts. What we saw today and what we saw today. And what we saw was an England team that's looking. Let's be honest. There's two hot favorite teams that everyone's talking about that are going to win the World Cup. That is England and India. Yeah. Now India are home. They're on home soil. England are the away team. They've been their test series. They've got the ODI team. England are #1 ranked team. They go 1-0 up and 2-1 up. Yeah. So don't give me this nonsense that is fixed and viewers, please no. Yeah.
no, what I'm
England
trying to
have
say
played
is
their
that
full
what I'm
strength
trying to
team
say,
out. England have played their full strength team out.
what
They've
I'm
won
trying
3
to say
tosses.
is,
India
what I'm trying
have
to say
played
is there's
a lot of experiment.
trying
Let me
to say
finish.
that sometimes it's not in the team's hands, the results. Sometimes there's
No, you're looking
sometimes there's a higher body, higher someone.
Listen, Braz,
Yeah, listen.
Braz, you're
You're like-
embarrassing yourself.
Faraz, yeah, do you know
And I'll
how?
tell you what, you're embarrassing yourself as a cricket guy who I've watched a lot of cricket and I don't entertain none of this match fixing stuff when you ain't got no proof. You're just
Okay,
making
you're
up this
telling
stuff.
me it doesn't exist.
Look, we're not here to discuss that. We're not here.
No,
We're not
Faraz,
here
yeah,
to
Batty, we've
discuss.
got to answer his point. We're not saying that match fixing, probably maybe spot fixing does exist. I mean, we hear about it all the time, and sometimes we see things on TV that, as people that watch a lot of
I'll
cricket,
give
we
you an
think.
example.
Well, Faraz, let me hear. Just hear me out,
I'll
Faraz.
give you an example. I'll give you an example of what you Pakistan supporters thought in the World Cup.
We're
And you
not
know
here
what
to
I'm going to
discuss.
say.
No,
This is the
we-
England show. Can we
No,
not
no,
take
Faraz,
this
and
And
Pakistan
you know
to
what
be
I'm going
clear?
to say.
Yeah, we know what you're going to say. We don't want you to say it.
Why?
No, because we're not. I'm not one of those fans that said that. That's the thing.
We're not
You,
here.
you are saying it.
No, I wasn't saying that.
Listen, Faraz, don't talk, please. Don't come on here and try to twist the tables and start
I'm not
talking
trying
about
to twist the
something
tables.
silly,
I'm trying
please.
to prove a point. In the England and India one-day international in the World Cup 2019, when Dhoni wasn't hitting those big runs in the end, what were the first thoughts of Pakistan supporters?
My thoughts were that India would rather play New Zealand than Pakistan. That's just much play. That's much play.
Everyone's thought was that they wanted Pakistan out of the World Cup,
But maybe they did.
Yes or no?
Faraz, listen to me. Okay, Faraz, let me put
and
you.
that's why they've lost.
Faraz, imagine you're an Indian batsman, you're an Indian player, yeah? You know how dangerous Pakistan are. They were finding form in that World Cup. But I'm not saying India deliberately lost the game. I'm not saying that. But all I'm saying is that even if India did think they would rather play New Zealand than Pakistan, I don't blame them in the semi-final. Because that's their better chance for them getting to the final.
Bobo, we're here to discuss England and India series. He's trying to twist it and divert it and trying to be clever.
I'm not trying to twist anything. I guess match fixing is another issue.
The only twisting that went on today was Sky when he came first ball and he just twisted up like this.
And Father says that there was some divine intervention. The England players were looking up in the sky a lot when Sky was batting and hitting them into the stumps.
I'm sorry for the viewers if I offended anyone. It was a bit of banter as well in there, but I have my feelings about match fixing, but I shouldn't have exposed them on here. I'm sorry about that.
Don't worry, no. This is what we're here for. We're here to expose all your thoughts for us.
But they're my personal opinions, and I do think match fixing is still a big part of the game, especially in India.
Okay, so hopefully, let's finish, Battery. Let's finish up now. So
unfortunately,
the service is 2-2 now. The decider is going to be a brilliant game. Hopefully on Saturday, we're hoping for a close game like today. Now, apart from the obvious thing by saying India won today, they got momentum. Do you think in T20 momentum is a big thing, or they're just on the day? Where the first
all I know,
for me, it's on the day.
If India win the toss, yeah, they're going to chase it in 10 overs. And if England win the toss, yeah, they're going to still lose. So the fact is here, it's not on the day. Look, England have got some.
England are a very good side. You're disrespecting them.
Joking aside, England have got some match winners. England have got some very good match winners. Yeah, England have got some, very good players. Yeah, the bowling they need to, they've got.
Have we seen Tom Curran come back in the team?
Could be.
For me, guys, personally, that in T20 cricket, there's very, very fine margins that decide matches.
Yeah.
In T20 cricket, and in the second T20 cricket match, if Butler caught Kohli early on, I think it would have been a different game. And in this test, this one, if Morgan played with a bit of brain today, could have been different.
Can I just talk about fine margin? Bubba, can I just ask, and this is something that Farazza reminded me on, and I need to talk about this, yeah? What was the third umpire on one occasion, and what was the on-field umpires were doing? Now, listen to me very carefully. 3 separate incidents, Bobo. First incident, yeah, I'll talk about is the Sky catch, yeah? Now,
yeah,
he caught it on the boundary, and I'll talk about the soft signal issue, which in a bit. Soft signal out. How can he give a soft signal when he can't see
the battery? The thing is, Betty, I'll answer that question first of all. This is the ICC thing. You can't criticize the umpire for the start because he has to give a signal. He has to say an out or not out as a soft signal. You can't turn around and say, I'm deciding that I'm not going to give you one today. It's not in the umpire's jurisdiction.
This is something that needs to be looked at because I can understand the soft signal close, but on a boundary, how could you see?
I agree.
Signal?
So maybe the ICC need to look at 3 signals.
I can understand. I know how we all know, and I think it was the late Tony Gregg. Tony Gregg did that thing where he had the ball and he put it on the floor and he was in his palm, but it showed the way the camera was cut that it looked like it did. I understand that he may have. I'm not going to say, a lot of the times, the way the camera showed it when you break it down in slow motion.
Yeah, because they're 2D cameras, they're not 3D, so you can't tell.
The problem I have is that the soft signal, now, to be honest with you, there was a bit of doubt that it did look like it hit the floor. But the problem was the third umpire wasn't conclusive. He was trying to find all angles above and everything.
To be honest with you, according to the protocols that are in place, the right thing was done. The umpire did the right thing because there wasn't conclusive evidence that it bounced.
You see
Now, let me ask you, the same guy that conceded the soft signal and he was out, he can't see a 6 and he gave it as a 4 and they didn't even check it. There was a blatant 6. Yeah. Then the Adil Rashid catch. I mean, what angles was he looking for? It was blatantly his foot was on the boarding.
To be honest with you, I wasn't that sure at the start. I wasn't sure. I thought it was the right trainer with the right background.
That was out because the board didn't move.
Yeah, the board didn't move. But anyway, we're out of time, guys. We're out of time. That's it. So thank you for your thoughts. We'll be back on Saturday evening to discuss.
Quick question: Is 4-1 still possible?
Well, as far as I said, anything can happen. This match could be overturned.
4-1 will be possible if they give them one more extra T20.
Farazza, these binoculars are no good. I'm still looking for Sam Curran. I can't find him.
So thank you, guys.
Sam Curran, unfortunately, Sam Curran will be in the squad.
Yeah, well, he's not going to go home, is he now? but he's coming. So thank you for your thoughts. We'll see you guys on Saturday evening to what should be an amazing conclusion to actually a very interesting T20 series.
And I'll be laughing.
Yeah, so I don't know how to say, out of hysteria or out of happiness. We'll see why you'll be laughing. All
It's
right,
another
thank you,
scandal.
guys.
man.
Thank you for your
Probably
thoughts.
say it's another scandal. He'll say it's another fix or something stupid.
Okay, cheers, guys. Thank you. And yeah, thank you for everyone watching as well.